as you guys can see for the title, we're doing another throwback, flashback, bringing it back kind of thing. My goodness, my English today. I had done a haul back in 2014 for my Sephora VIB sale, and I went through all the products to see where they stand today. So you guys liked it so much, I figured let's throw it back again. And this time we're going to do another haul from 2014, and it was my birthday haul. Oh gosh, you guys, I'm a little embarrassed by this video. I just sat down to watch it again just to make sure I had all the products that I needed to, write them all down. And Lord have mercy, my goodness, I think I had close to 50 items I showed in this haul. This was a rather large haul. Bear in mind, at the time, I did not have much high-end products, so I was trying new products during this time. I was opening up the door to a lot of things that I shouldn't have, and I should have controlled myself. I think at this point I was controlled, and then this was the year where I kind of let go a little bit and I couldn't stop. So we have our basket full of things that are still here, and then I'll let you guys know what I used up, decluttered, what happened to it, expired, so on and so forth. So if you're interested, stay tuned, my friends. If you're new, welcome. Alejandra, I go by Alex, eyeshadow enthusiast with a Lash Project Pan. That is something you want to continue to see on your feed. Subscribe and join us. And now let's get on with this flashback. Okay, you guys, so if you see me looking down, it's because I'm looking at my notes, because holy crap, this is a lot of stuff that I hauled. Anything that I do not have, for whatever reason, whether I used it up or I completely decluttered it, I will show you guys on the screen if I could find things, because bear in mind, this is about 7-8 years ago. I think it's about 7 years ago. Not quite 8 years due to the month, but it's a pretty large one. So let's get started. All right, first thing that I hauled was the Dior Fluid Attic Sticks, which you guys, I still have, but I do not have all of them. There was more that I owned, but I think I decluttered 2 or 3 of them that were not my shade. This is the one that I currently have in a project pan, and these are the other shades that I have left. I love these. Yes, these are rather old. They still smell good. They still work fine on my lips. I am not going to get rid of them just for the sake of getting rid of something. They're not affecting me in any way, shape, or form. They don't smell bad. The texture is still exactly the same. I've always said I feel like older makeup had better they last a lot longer than they do now, and I think it just has to do with a lot of things. Let's not go in there, which is good and bad, but there's always a good and bad to everything. So anyway, I still have those in my collection. I still love them. And I did mention when I brought this one into a project pan that I really got to hustle and start using these a little bit more because they are getting older. These were my first high-end, like Dior high-end lip products that I purchased, and I still love them. I wish they never discontinued them because they are such a good formula. Up next is the Kat Von D KVD Por Vida blush. This was a square blush. I did declutter this. I went through a major part in my life where I wanted to get rid of things that I was just not using, and this was a beautiful blush. Part of me, I don't 100% regret getting rid of this, but part of me wishes that I would have gotten more use out of it to really see how I liked it. I barely used this blush. I bought it because everyone was raving about it at the time. I think she had a color named Honey or Terracotta or something. I never got my hands on it, so I tried this color, and I may have used it once or twice, and that's why I ended up decluttering it, because I was never reaching for it. But it is a blush I wish I would have gotten more use out of to really get a thought for it, like, or something about it, because all I remember is the color and the actual packaging. That's it. I don't remember what it even looked like on my cheeks. All right, the next thing I talked about was Too Faced. And I should say to you guys, this was a very Too Faced heavy haul. I was new to Too Faced at the time, so this is rather heavy haul for Too Faced. So I ended up purchasing, in the video I stated the remainder of the shades of the Too Faced Melted Liquefied Lip. And I ended up getting the 4 last color, which was Candy, Berry, Marshmallow, and Fig. I still own 3 out of the 4 that I hauled. which are these three right here. This one is berry, fig, and candy. Marshmallow I did declutter. There was quite a few I did declutter. Not all of them do I own at this point in my life. I have decluttered some since, but I still own them. As you guys can see, they still smell good. They still work perfectly fine. They're on my lips, no one else's lips. So I don't feel like I should get rid of them just because they're old. If they're still working fine, I'm still going to use them. Why get rid of them to then buy a new one? Again, it just doesn't make any sense to me. That's just how I am. You guys, I know some of you guys are probably thinking this is gross, but it's only on my lips and I take care of my things rather well. Like, I'm not a person who's very messy with my makeup. I make sure that my things are nice and clean and sanitized so they last a while. And these you could squeeze out of the actual tube, put them on the back of your hand and use them. So you don't have to use a sponge applicator either, which I like. So I don't own every color. As far as this haul, I did get rid of marshmallow. I think that was like a light pink, like a cool tone pink. I don't know why. I was in that phase where I needed all the shades. You know, that phase that I went through. So that one I did get rid of. I don't have that one. Next thing I talked about was Josie Maran coconut eye things. And I hauled 3 of them and I still own all 3 of these. These are the Josie Maran coconut water eyeshadows. You guys, you could clearly see these are not dried up. These are perfectly fine. You just shake them up. Now the applicator has died on me. Like the applicator is no longer there. But what I do is I just grab a little dot, put it on the back of my hand, and then put it on my eye. You don't need a lot with these. So it actually works out better in that sense because I felt like the doe foot put too much on my eyes and then my eyes looked crepey. The 3 shades that I hauled in this haul was Beach Sand, which is this darker color. Rio de Rose Gold, which is this beautiful shade. And then Playa del Pink, which is this other one right here. These 3 still work perfectly fine. I reach for these more in the summer than I do in the wintertime. So these are ones that I'm going to be playing around with on the days that I really don't want to wear a lot of makeup, that I just want something shiny and beautiful on the eyes. They're still fine, you guys. These are still fine. There's absolutely nothing wrong with these. These have not dried up on me. I told you guys, I take good care of my makeup and it lasts for me. It hasn't irritated my eyes. It doesn't smell funky. The textures don't look anything off of any of the products that I have so far. So far so good. So far so good. All right, up next, I spoke about a Too Faced kit. I don't remember the name of it, but looking at what I hauled, it brought 2 lipsticks. Looks like one was called like Naked Dolly and Spice Spice Baby. I could tell you right now, those went bad. I did end up throwing those away. It brought an eyeshadow primer, which I did end up using. It was like a mini size, and then a lip liner, which was like Spice something. I ended up using up that lip liner not too long ago, maybe like a year or 2 ago. It was still working perfectly fine. So out of the whole entire kit, I ended up using 2 things in total. An eyeshadow primer, which was a mini, and a lip liner. The lip liner was beautiful, and I didn't realize how old that lip liner was when I panned it. It had to have been last year or the year before that I panned that lip liner. I really liked it, but the whole kit. So I ended up getting rid of 4, half and half. Okay, I got half my money's worth out of it. All right, fine. Up next was the Too Faced Peach Beach blush, which is this one right here. I still own it. I still love it. I still use it, you guys. This is a baked product, so this is going to take me a very long time to use up, but I still like it. I only own 2 of these in my collection. This one and the Sparkling Bellini, I believe is the other color's name. Both beautiful. Still love these. Still work perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with them. These are going to last me a lifetime. And the packaging is cute, but it's now getting bulky, so I don't have too many bulky blushes. The few that I have, I really, really like. So I still own this one as well. I also hauled the Too Faced Candlelight Glow highlighter. That was a highlighter that was half like a pink glow and half like a white base gold glow. When you mix them together, it came out beautiful. The reason I use this one a ton, I ended up using it to the point where the emblem, which was like a chandelier that it had imprinted in it, was almost gone, but I ended up decluttering it because it started to get hard pan a lot. It wasn't a color that I was really into anymore. I realized that I'm not into pinky, icy highlighters as much as I am to champagne, nude, gold kind of highlighters. Those I really like overall. And if I do have pink highlighters, They're highlighters that are very unique. They're not like straight pink. I don't like straight pink highlighters at all. None at all. And I've gotten rid of most of mine that look like that. And this one looked like that for me. It was just way too white base, way too pinky base. So I ended up decluttering this one. And that would have lasted me forever if I would have kept it, because it was a lot of product. You guys know Too Faced's old school products. Even the now ones, you get a lot of product. Then we have 2 palettes that I hauled. The Natural at Night and the Romantic Eye. Both of these I did declutter. They were beautiful palettes, but I have too many palettes, so some things had to go, and I ended up decluttering both of these palettes. They are now in a home where they are loved because I keep being told how much they love them. So at least I'm happy that someone else is getting use out of them. I did not get any use out of these at all. I just bought them for the packaging at that point. So yeah, they ended up going to another home. So that portion of the haul was also Sephora. So it looks like I went to Ulta as well. So the first portion I spoke about was Sephora. Now we're moving into Ulta's haul in this haul. So there was 2 different places I went to. So we have the Coastal Scents Revealed 1 and 2 palette. I purchased those, I guess, at Ulta. I don't remember them selling them. Is it the Revealed 1 and 2? I don't know if it was Revolution or Coastal Scents. I don't remember saying it in there, but I'll put them up on the screen. These were dupes to the Naked 1 and Naked 2. At the time in 2014, I did not own either one of these. I was one of those few people that never really bought the Urban Decay Nakeds or MAC at that time. Not until later on did I purchase those. So I ended up buying the dupes. They were nice dupes, but because I've tried so many eyeshadow formulas, I ended up getting rid of these and passing these along. So I do not own these in my collection anymore. Then I purchased a Mally kit that came with the face defender, that pommy type of like face. You know what I'm talking about? You'll see it on the screen. It ended up coming with a few other things. I ended up using that pommy thing. I did end up using it, never repurchased it again, just because I've been able to better my skincare in order for me not to have to blot my face or powder my face, which I do not like to do, is to powder my face. But this was a good item for very oily skin where you didn't want to have more powder on your face. So I remember using that, but the other items I don't remember. I don't recall using them. They may have been decluttered or thrown out in the trash because they went bad. But I know the main reason why I bought this kit was for that. And I figured I get my money's worth out of it by buying that and a few little other things. But I don't recall ever using the other things. I don't even know what was in the other things. Maybe while I look up what this kit is, I could tell you on the screen what I did use. Then we bought Bare Minerals. These was the Nudes with Attitude kit. This was a lip gloss kit. Can tell you 100%. Did not use any of these lip glosses. I believe I ended up decluttering them and moving them along to someone else. I did not use any of them. I've spent so much money, you guys, and it's ridiculous because half of this crap I didn't even use. So no, I did not use them. I'm pretty sure I never panned any of these. I may have used 1 or 2 and that was the end of that. The Pure Afterglow Highlighter. I thought I had kept this, but I'm not. It's not in my collection, so I must have decluttered it, but I did keep this one for a long time. This was a natural highlighter. I think I got rid of it because I ended up keeping a different highlighter. I think it was the Laura Mercier matte highlighter that was very similar to it. And I like the Laura Mercier formula more because it's baked than this one. But it was a beautiful, subtle highlighter. It was really, really nice. But breaking it down to the things that I really was going to reach for, I wasn't reaching for this one as much, so I ended up decluttering this one. But I will say I did get a lot of use out of it. And out of all the things that are no longer in my collection from this haul, this is one of the few things that stayed for a while. Not got rid of real quickly. Then we have Tarte's Blush Captivating. At the time, this was a limited edition shade. This was a limited edition packaging. And I really wanted it because I did not own any Tarte blushes. I believe this is one of my first Tarte blushes ever. And I still own it, you guys. The Tarte blushes, you can pop them out just like a Natasha Denona shadow. So I still have the packaging, but I put them all in a Z palette. And this is Captivating right here. This is the shade Captivating. I still own it. And as you guys know, that Tarte formula is a very tough one to pan. So it looks brand new, but I have used it and it's one of my favorite colors. This is like that beautiful peachy pink shade. It's really, really nice. I really like it a lot. So yeah, I still have it, still use it, still love it. Then with that collection, I also bought the Tarte Golden Day and Night palette. Nope. It's interesting to see what you purchased in the past and where it stands, because if I were to see this eyeshadow palette now, I wouldn't even bat an eye, you guys. I don't know why I even bought this. This was like strips, 6 shades of strips. And in the video, I even said that I don't own anything like it. It's beautiful, blah, 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 blah. I would have never bought this today. Today, that would never come to my collection. I just wouldn't even spend my money. The only way is if I got it for free, because I would not spend the money on this kind of eyeshadow palette this day. It's so interesting to see how I've evolved with it when it comes to makeup, my purchases, and what I would purchase now. Then we bought the Urban Decay Naked blush face palette, the one with the highlighter, blush, and bronzer. And I ended up getting the color Streak and Strip. These are pretty. I remember using them very sparingly. I did not like the bronzers. I remember specifically not liking the bronzers. I felt like the bronzers were way too warm toned and it looked more like an eyeshadow color than it did a bronzer. And the highlighters were more pinky toned. None of them were really gold or neutral or champagne. They leaned a little bit more pink for me. I ended up selling these. I remember I had 3 of them. I only hauled 2, so I must have hauled the 3rd one later on in life, but I remember selling all 3 of these. I did not keep these. I didn't give them away. I ended up selling them on Poshmark, and I'm happy I did, because I wouldn't have liked them now. I think the face palettes that I own now are so much better than those, in my opinion, just because I like the colors more. Then the Lorac Baked Blush in Exposed. This is one of those blushes I regret decluttering. I do. Not to the point where I'm going to search for it and buy it. I have things in my collection now that are very similar to it, but this was a beautiful blush. And I think the reason that I remember decluttering this is because I fell for that if it's old, get rid of it kind of mentality, instead of thinking about it logically and saying, am I going to use it? Is it still good? Is it not affecting my skin? Is it not, is smelling funky? I felt at a certain point when it came to decluttering that if it's old, just get rid of it. Don't even bother. Don't even try to test it. And I remember getting rid of this blush during that era in my life, and I wish I didn't. This is one of those few regrets that I wish I still had in my collection, because it was such a beautiful blush. The formula was beautiful, and I remember buying this one. It was really, really nice. A lot of people spoke about it, and I would still use it if I had it. But I do have other things now that are very similar. And then we have the Amazing Cosmetics blushes, and I got 2 colors, Pink Chocolate and Mucho Melon. Pink Chocolate was a blush, another blush that it was so unique because it was a pink. It was like a cool toned burgundy because it had pink with brown in it, but it wasn't very deep like Dolce Vita or like, what other color can I describe it as? Like those deep purpley raspberry kind of blushes. This was such a beautiful shade. I rocked and used the crap out of Pink Chocolate. That's another one that I kind of wish I didn't regret. I'm not 100% like, oh, I really should have liked the rock one. This one, I remember just loving it because it was just enough pink for me to love where it wasn't terrible on my skin. These were like small and round, Amazing Cosmetics. I don't even know if they exist anymore, but they were going out of Ulta and no longer being sold at Ulta. So I don't know if at that time they were discontinuing or they were just leaving Ulta. So I ended up getting 2 blushes. Mucho Melon was your typical melony shade. So that one I didn't get much use out of because I do have a lot of those and I remember getting a lot of those in my collection. But the Pink Chocolate I remember getting a ton of use out of and really liking it. But again, it came down to what I was going to really use and not use. And I ended up decluttering these because I had other blushes that I would rather reach for that were a little bit more expensive, a little bit more higher end that I'd rather reach for. So I ended up decluttering both of those as well. Pink Chocolate, I do remember getting a ton of use of when it came to the winter time. So I do have good memories of that blush. All right, so then we got into Anastasia Dip Brow Pomade. I specifically remember this was gifted to me by my mother. You guys know I've said this a million times, I'm a hairy person. I have a lot of hair everywhere, you name it. I probably have hair coming out of it. But my mom bought me this because my mother is not very hairy. She doesn't have much hair. I inherited this from my father. So She bought it for me because she loved the pomade. At the time, this was new and there wasn't much understanding of it. So you fell for the hype, and now, of course, I don't need a pomade at all whatsoever. You guys, I do not need it. And I remember using this up. I did. I ended up using the whole entire pomade in a project pan, and that was a struggle because I didn't need a lot, and if I went a little overboard, I legit had like robot eyebrows because you could see how this is barely filling in with a pencil. Could you imagine with a pomade? I'm not even going to redirect you to my old videos because you could probably tell how bad my brows look. They were just super dark. And my mom got me, I think, the dark brown color, which made it even darker, my brows. Yeah, that was a hot mess. That was a hot mess. That's when I learned no to pomades, no to the gel kind of pomade things like NYX had one. No, 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 no. Never doing that again in my life. Then I ended up getting, as well as a gift, the Lorac Pro 2 palette, and I still own that palette till this day. This was one of my first cool-toned high-end palettes. I barely reached for any cool tones. I never really bought them myself, so this was a gift, and I actually like it. I have used it, you guys, so it's not like it's brand new just sitting there. No, I have used it. I have done videos on it. I still like it because it's not super cool tone. And it's not one color story, if you know what I mean. Like, this isn't a cool tone rosy, cool tone grays, cool tone taupes. This is like a lot of variety. So I really like it. I still like this. I still enjoy it. So yeah, I'm still keeping this. Then we move on to the Benefit blushes, the box blushes. Recently, they just released a bunch of new ones, and I'm trying very hard to not buy any because I really don't need any more blushes, but these are some of my favorite. I just like the packaging, and I love the formula of them. Here I hauled Rockateur, Coralista, and Dallas. I believe Dallas is no longer in existence. Maybe the new blushes has a Dallas similar one, like a one that looks like Dallas. Dallas is that bronzer kind of blush. It's so, so pretty. One of my favorites, and I reach for this when I don't know what else to reach for. This is great, and it works all year round for me. Then we have Coralista, which is your typical orangey kind of shade. These are gonna last me a lifetime, you guys, because I've had these for a long time and it looks like I barely use them. And then Rockateur. I remember loving Rockateur, and I still love this one. The imprint has worn off on this one. It's supposed to say Rockateur on there, but I've used this one so much that it's worn off. This is one of my favorite pinks. If I'm going to choose a pink, this is my favorite pink that I own in my collection. Love it, and I love the formula of it. I also hauled the Hoola bronzer. This is my second one. This is not my original one that I bought in this haul. This is my second one. I finished one off a long time ago. I even finished off a mini of this, but I have yet to touch this one. I bought a backup, obviously, and I have another one. But I have this one. I have also gifted this, so I really like this. This one and NARS Laguna and Too Faced Chocolate Soleil. Those are the three that if I could keep only three, those are the three that I would keep, just because I know they work for me all year round and they're neutral undertones for me, so I can rock them out. So I still own all of these, and I still love them, and I still use them, and they're still perfectly fine. Nothing wrong with them. All right, the last 4 items in this haul, this is how long this haul was, were Too Faced palettes. It was the Naked Eye, the Rockstar, Country, and the Cat Eye. All of these have left my collection. I did not get any use out of them. I think I used Country and Cat Eye. I never used Rockstar and Naked. I ended up buying these because they were more of a collector thing for me at the time. I never really used them. I never really reached for them. And I can recall not really wanting the color stories, but just because they were in a tin and this was the newest thing and I really like Too Faced formula, blah, 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 blah. I ended up buying these off of the Too Faced website, and none of these exist in my collection. They're no longer here. They have found better homes. I didn't even get to use them. They were brand new when I got rid of them. So yeah, I got rid of those suckers. Okay, you guys, so out of the close to 50 items that I hauled, I have kept about 10 to 12 items still in my collection. That's like, what, not even 25% of the items in here. Oh, holy crap, you guys. And then I ended up using only 2 things out of this whole entire haul. The majority of this haul was decluttered or sold, you guys. I didn't get my money's worth out of this at all. At all. This was horrible. This was horrendous. I am embarrassed, and I was embarrassed as I was watching this video back, my old haul video, because I could not believe how much crap I bought and how much crap I did not use, I did not love, I did not take advantage of. Wow. These items, I can tell you, are still being used and loved, but the items that are gone, the only thing that I regret getting rid of was the Lorac blush. Everything else, I would have saved my money on and not bought now. I wouldn't have bought those things now. I wouldn't have cared for them because I knew they weren't my color story. Now I know what my tastes are. Obviously, I know what I like. I know what I want to buy. But wow. A lot of money down the drain, you guys. A lot of money down the drain. And I like doing these videos because it reminds me and it makes me realize how I was and how I am now. And I'm not regretting it. This is why I don't want to review every new thing. This is why I don't want to buy every single new thing. I just want to pick the things that I know I'm going to use, because all of this, could you imagine if I bought all this for review and only used it once and then got rid of it anyway? That's a lot of money still wasted. A lot of money still wasted. I don't know. That's just not me. Now I understand why I had so much anxiety with so much crap that I was bringing in. So anyway, that is it, you guys. I will leave the old video down in the description box if you're interested in watching it. Please don't. I'm a little embarrassed by it. But thank you guys so much for watching. I'll put more videos on the screen for your enjoyment. Until then, adios.